everyone, myself Hetvi Buba and I am completed my graduation from the Maharaja Sayajirao University of Baroda and recently I am pursuing MSc Microbiology from the Sardar Patel University. In this video lecture we are talking about the anatomy of the dicot root. Before we starting the anatomy of dicot root, we first understand what is the dicot plant. In dicot plant there is two cotyledon in their embryo, which means when we separate the seed of the dicot plant, it divided into two parts. It called a two cotyledon or a dicot plant. Now we are talking about the dicot root anatomy. The outermost layer is made up of a parenchymatous cell which is not having any intracellular spaces. It called a epidermis. Now this epidermis cell will be protrude out in the form of the hair-like structure which is called a root hair. After the epidermis, in case of a stem, we have a hypodermis layer. But in case of the dicot root, we don't have any hypodermis layer. But we have a parenchymatous cell which is having thin cell wall and also having a intracellular spaces. This is it called a cortex. After the cortex, the innermost layer is made up of the barrel-like structure cell. What do you mean by barrel-like structure cell? This cell is a narrower at the end and swollen in between. This cell is called a barrel-like structure and it made the innermost layer which is called a endodermis. Okay. Now when we cut this cell, we get a polygonal shape of the cell. Okay, this type of shape we can get. On the polygonal shell, we have a deposition of the waxy substance which is on the radial side. These sides have a deposition of the waxy substance which is called a suberin. And we saw suberin deposition in this layer by a line which is called a Casparian strip. Now this Casparian strip is having a suberin which is water, it is water impermeable. So when the root hair it absorb the moisture, it absorb the water. So how xylem get this water? Because there is between Casparian strip which is water impermeable. So some endodermis cell which not having a Casparian strip, which is not having a suberin deposition, it called a passage cell, means it pass the water from the cortex to the xylem. Okay. Now after the endodermis there is some parenchymatous layer which is called a pericycle, and this pericycle have a two role. If parenchymatous cell is converted into meristematic cell, so it is important for the secondary growth of the plant. And second role of the pericycle is it produces the lateral root. Okay. Now we are talking about the vascular part of the root. Vascular part means xylem and phloem. There are xylem and phloem, both are present and both are in 4 in number. Okay, 4 to 6 in number. In case of xylem, we can talk about xylem, which is exarch. Means what do you mean by exarch? Exarch means the protoxylem is going to be outer and the metaxylem is going to be inner side. Okay. Protoxylem is present on the outer side. This one is a protoxylem and this one is a metaxylem. Okay. Now phloem is present 4 in number and alternate to xylem, means one xylem is present, one phloem, one xylem, one phloem, one xylem and phloem. Okay. Both are alternate to each other. Now if we talking about teeth is present but not very much developed. Okay. Now next one is a conjunctive tissue. What do you mean by conjunctive tissue? It joined the phloem and xylem by some parenchymatous cell. This one is a parenchymatous cell which called a conjunctive tissue which joined the phloem and xylem. Okay. So this is all about the anatomy of the dicot root. I hope you can understand very well.